one of the things I was worried about was that you said Jelson the fourth, and I think if Alliance is, gives Jelson something like the Jarvan here today, I think they're going to lose. So it's very empowering, in fact, to me, that they give Jelson that early game carry, this Lee Sin, who can show up early and boost his lanes. Now, SSK Shinsekai is pulling out the Renekton, which is going to be very stable up top. So the attention of Jelson during this early game is going to either go onto mid or where this Varus is down in the bot lane in Raven's hands. Either way, we need to see an early start from the Lee Sin. That's what the Lee Sin is for. We need to see Jelson take over the game early, and preferably for Alliance, do enough damage during those first 5 minutes that as we get into the hyper late game, he's still able to provide pure lethality punish and be an assassin.
We have the vibe coming in here for Flash Wolves, and TJ, I remember we talked about this at length with D2 yesterday about how the Vi is just like hasn't had a good run here in the SEA Championships. And alongside that is Nami, and I guess now Diana hasn't been performing well at all, or hasn't been a champion that's been performing well. Is this sort of like a foreboding, an omen of sorts for the side of Flash Wolves?
I'm not the biggest Vi fan, but I've noticed that the teams from the Taiwanese region tend to prefer Vi over a lot of other options, and I think it's because they play slower games, wherein the kind of CC that Vi has is extraordinarily powerful. The other thing that Vi offers here is she's able to keep up with Lee Sin in his mobility, which means that you can go toe-to-toe with Lee Sin during the mid-game. So Flash Wolves are drafting to play a little bit more defensive in the jungle with this Vi pick. They're drafting to play for the long game, which very much matches onto the Galio, which very much matches onto the Senna, both of whom are going to hit power spike in the late game, and the Camille, who's possibly the most effective late game top laner.
I think the other thing to also note for the Vi pick for Flash Wolves is it gives you guaranteed lockdown onto the backline for Alliance, which is going to be this Varus. And as we saw in the prior series that plagued Evo Esports when they were trying to get onto the backline of Varus, they didn't have a reliable way to do it. They didn't have ways to just lock down the Varus with a point-and-click ability. You do have that ability now because of Assault and Battery, and you have ways to combo that as well, because you are going to have Galio following up with the Heroic Entrance, and it doesn't even have to be the Vi either. You have two ways of doing it, because the Camille can also be the person that is delivering the Galio onto the Varus. Everyone else is fairly mobile, but because you have point-and-click lockdowns, you can also make sure that they don't escape your grasp as Flash Wolves. And then, of course, the Lucian being locked in for mid lane Bruce is going to be the primary damage dealer for the composition of Flash Wolves.
Yeah, definitely. We have to look out for that. TJ, any final thoughts?
I was going to say, I'm happy with both these compositions. I laid out that I wanted Flash Wolves to go double AD carry. I wanted Flash Wolves to give something powerful in both their key carry lanes. They did that. I laid out that I wanted Alliance to have an early start for Jelson, a key carry jungler, and they did that as well. So this is going to come entirely down to execution, and both Alliance and Flash Wolves' tournament lives are on the line. If Alliance get a 2-0 here again, they unseat Flash Wolves and go to playoffs. If Flash Wolves win one game, Alliance are out of the tournament entirely.
And just a little commercial break, I have to point out that Miss Mary is doing those adorable massage little needs over there on TJ's lap. Just so cute. But yes, this is indeed going to be that battle for 4th place, that last slot in the playoffs. Yes, that means that they will be going straight into the lower bracket, but it's still the playoffs nonetheless. It's going to be very exciting. A lot on the line here for both of these teams, for both Alliance and Flash Wolves. And we are going to go to game number 1, where it all comes down to. Casters, take it away.
Thank you very much, Mika. We're going into Alliance vs Flash Wolves. This is for all the marbles. This is for your playoffs run. And some would say it's for the respect of Miss Mary, the greatest prize of all, Omo. But looking at Alliance, they need a 2-0 Flash Wolves, one game, and they will lose their chance to go higher in the seedings.
Yeah, I don't know about the respect for Miss Mary. I think that one might be a bit of a stretch there. I don't think anyone can get that, even if you win the whole thing. But like you said,
that's
Brandon,
true.
These teams cannot afford to drop a game. Alliance cannot afford to drop a game. If they 2-0 here, they go to playoffs. as the 4th seed, but nonetheless, they go to playoffs. If Flash Wolf, they take a single game, they make it to playoffs themselves. So both of these teams, like you said, for all the marbles, it really just comes down to this. And if you look at the drafts, Grandin, I think we're in for an extremely exciting one.
Well, there you have it. We're already going on into the Rift. It's Alliance on the blue side, and well, they've defaulted back towards a more traditional kind of composition. They're playing more into the meta. This is Alliance that we know is tried, true, tested. Flash Wolves are going to do the same. I love the adaptations with the bans from Alliance to get rid of the Yasuo composition. So Bruce is back on the Lucian.
And I'm actually quite interested to see how this Baron lane matchup will play out. Just as I say that, it's not off to a great start here, as Shinsekai gets slowed, gets chunked, and he won't be able to contest this wave push well.
And there we have it! Put back into the game, Momo! Put back!
Indeed, we are back, and it looks like nothing has really changed. Shinsekai was forced to recall. That's going to be a bit of a rough situation for him, but he's going to be, you know, just marching his way back up. Of course, keep in mind, this matchup is not that favorable in Wild Rift. Renekton can still lose out to Camille because you don't have the shield breaker mechanic. So having been forced to recall at level 1, that's going to be a really rough spot for him to be in.
Absolutely, but judging from the way that Jelson is pathing right now, we might see him make his way up to the Baron lane to alleviate some of the pressure from SSK, which is a godsend, right? You absolutely have to make these moves.
Yeah, you absolutely have to, because you did lose out on the pressure at level 1. And right now, we do see the usual thing where Cookie comes into mid lane, helps his mid laner push it out a little bit, and this does mean that the top lane Scuttlecraft will go over to the side of Flash Wolves. And Jelson will just be forced to duck away and take the bot side Scuttle, I was going to say, but it looks like he will just pick a blue buff instead for himself. Trades going pretty evenly here in the bottom lane. Varus Nami, one of the most lane dominant duos in the game, so we really need to see how these two perform.
I also want to see what Cookie's looking to do against Jelson. Walks into the jungle. Look at the movements from Bruce. Really trying to put the pressure powered onto SSK, who's stuck on the turret now. Jelson has to try and respond to this. And look at the damage coming across from Ysera. This shield, the physical damage shield, negates everything the Lee Sin does.
But this does mean that the first roam attempt for Bruce has failed. Unfortunately, Vaki moved to try to match it. So that's not gonna be too much of a big deal there. If Vaki had stayed in the mid lane, kept pushing it out, then that would have been a pretty nice situation for him. But still, the rest of Alliance, they're just going to be content, just farming it up for now. Shinsekai a little bit behind, but it's not the end of the world just yet.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't overcome 500 gold, right?
Yeah.
If it's under 500 gold, it's not even a full component, so it's actually pretty negligible, right? You're not able to actually buy something. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep on rationalizing to myself, telling myself, convincing myself that we're okay. Alliance is in a decent spot. You know, I want to talk a little bit about this Vi pickup here, because we saw priority to ban away from the Olaf from Cookie to prevent Flash from being able to play that composition, and we've seen that, and we've seen the Vi very prevalent in these Yasuo compositions. So we're starting to see it kind of mix and match for Flash Wolves.
Mix and match is a good way to put it. I mean, I think if you think about what's good and what's bad about Flash Wolves' team composition, it's really, really good at going in. And if you look at what Alliance have, Varus, Nami, Ahri, if you gotta get on top of these champions, it's gonna be really good for sure. The problem is once Jonia Hourglasses start to come in, it's gonna be a bit difficult, I would say, for Flash Wolves to really start to play these team fights out. Because they really only do one thing. They go in. They're really, really good at doing that one thing. But at the end of the day, that's still only one way for them to play out these team fights. Keep in mind as well, by the way, they have no magic damage. They have very little CC as well. Basically just Vi as well as Galio are going to be providing all the CC in the game. So I think if Alliance, you know, they start stacking some ninja Tabis, I think they're going to be really happy here.
All right, there we go. Alliance, their game plan's already been drawn up by Mr. Omo here, giving them free information to work with. We'll see if they're able to execute on that, if Alliance is going to be able to go for these item purchases. We already start to see the Twin Shadows enchant bought by CWJ. He's played a game on the Galio before as sort of the follow-up to this team. Now he's playing as the Nami in the tidal wave. I mean, it works both ways. It could be an initiate, it could also be a disengage. So we'll see how he's able to impact these games. Raven, this is pretty aggressive here. He's stepping up forward, and I'm a little bit concerned for him.
Yeah, you kind of have to, right? You need to be aggressive. You need to
put that pressure on.
Yeah, here we go. They might try to go for corrupting. not gonna go for the Chains of Corruption. Just gonna do a little bit of poke, and that's gonna be it here. The good news is, Varus almost always gives you lane priority, so Alliance, they should have the inside track on the objective that they want. That's of course gonna be the Rift Herald. I do think that is the better objective for the first objective trade. They're gonna pick that one up. I don't think they have the priority to do too much with it right now though.
Well, you say that, but they're trying to make something happen in the Baron lane up against Ysera, but will change their mind. They're going to back off instead. They're going to bring Raven into the mid lane, send Zorbeki down to the bottom side. This is something that we've seen as an adaptation from a lot of teams that are more macro focused. They like to bring their bot lane duo into the mid side and allow the assassin-ish player to play in the side lane.
Yeah, that's always gonna be nice, right? But the main thing is if both sides, if I put my dual lane in the mid lane and you don't put your dual lane in the mid lane, my 2v1 is always gonna have prior in mid lane. We're always gonna move first. So it kind of becomes an arms race where both of these teams, they are just forced to be there. They're gonna be forced to just keep pushing, matching the waves. Oof, good trades from Ysera. He does have to try first, but Shinsekai with the block, that's gonna be a potential one-shot as well.
Picking up a pretty aggressive item early on, Johnson's going to be making his way to the top side.
What
He's
did we
looking
say, right?
for Ysera. Nice dodge away, but the Dragon's Rage comes across, and it's first blood. First in the blood for Alliance.
Gimnism, let me ask you, what did we say when we talk about Lee Sin Renekton? My mom knows what Lee Sin Renekton is gonna do. They're gonna go to your lane, they're gonna stun you, kick you, resonating strike you, and that's it. Lights out. Suddenly the gold swings over to the side of Alliance from that poor level 1 start. They break the turret, they kill Bruce, they're gonna get a second charge as well. Things are looking up all of a sudden.
You know what? I'm really glad you meant that as a rhetorical question because I wasn't sure I could answer that correctly, and I was really worried that I was going to know less about the game than your mom. So I'm really glad that was a rhetorical question. Oh, well, thank you for saving me for that. Let's hope to see
Gimnism,
Alliance.
what does Ari and Lee Sin do?
Oh, well, I think Alliance know what it does, and that's the most important thing about it, because Shinsekai will be able to find this catch in the top side,
Yes,
and
they
so
do.
we've managed to negate the early game advantage that Ysera has found for himself. Hopefully with this, I mean, it's part of the Blade of the Rune King strategy, going for an aggressive lane.
Yeah, you get the one shot, right? And Bok just synergizes so well with Renekton's kit. Because if you're empowered Ruthless Predator, you get in 3 strikes. Vecchi a little bit iffy, playing with fire, but he knows they don't have enough on-demand crowd control to really threaten him. Now Flash Wolves, they're starting to posture very aggressively, and something I want to point out, a man that we have not been looking at too much, and there we go, thank you very much, Observers. Look at Bruce, he's been quietly farming up the Storm. Basically the second highest gold in the game, him and Jelson, here we go, a little bit for fight.
Yeah, watch out for Shinsekai because he's likely to go down here, collapse in by force. Flash Wolves
Everyone's
return
there.
with their own kill.
But if they kill Bruce on the other side of the map, this is huge. Bruce does manage to clear the wave, and he's likely just gonna back off. Becky wants
Twin
to...
Shadows comes across. There we have it. The barrier's gonna give a little bit more life to Bruce, but unfortunately still has to face up against Absorb Becky.
Oh,
With a
gets
Spirit
it.
Rush and a Tidal Wave. It's still a pickup though.
What's this?
Jelson, he's 1 versus 3 under the turret. Won't be able to make it happen though.
Yeah, he tries to defend the weak side play, and that's never a good idea. Probably just want to be holding onto the mid wave. This will be the turret dropping, but unfortunately, well, turret drops on both sides, but Flash Wolves, fortunately for them, they get 2 kills off the back of them. Gold is even right now. Alliance do pick up this one, so they're still a little bit ahead, marginally ahead. It's not really going to be a big difference. I want to point out the gold charts right now. Ysera a little bit up, Bruce a little bit up, Jelson up quite a bit, and Raven as well, 1,000 gold up on his counterparts. Well, I guess you could say that, right? But if you count how much gold Eason has, it kind of evens out a little bit. Now, we got to keep our eyes on the next objective, Gaminism. 20 seconds till the dragon spawns. That is going to be Fire Dragon. From what we've seen today, I think we can definitely expect both of these teams to want to fight over that. So we might just see the game get flipped at second dragon yet again, Gaminism.
Alright, the second dragon coin flip. I love it. I love to see it.
I don't.
I mean, why bother playing out a 25-minute game when a 10-minute dragon can determine the entire fate of the rest of it anyway?
You love the
Alliance,
flips.
I love the flips. That's my favorite thing about Wild Rift. And Alliance have prioritized for the Mercury threats, so won't be able to negate as much of the physical damage. I think Bruce is still gonna hit like a truck up until the armor items come across for Alliance. So Flash Wolves actually have a really good window. Bruce is looking very strong as long as he's actually able to participate in these fights.
Yeah, Bruce for sure is going to be a major win condition in these fights for the side of Flash Wolves. I do want to point out the map state right now, though. Look at where Shinsekai and and Jelson are. They are playing in tandem, knowing what the combo does. I think Jelson did get spotted by a ward, so it does make it a little bit harder for them to find these picks. Bruce, he's a veteran. He's going to be well aware of this. Flash Wolves, they're going to move in first, though. They know where they are.
Oh, here we have it. Cookie, he's the one to initiate the Since coming in. They find the damage and take down the Vice straight away. Cookie,
Given this,
he's
what did
gone
we
too
say?
far forward.
What did we just say?
What did we say?
Everyone
I don't
knows
know. I
what-
have short-term memory.
We know what Renekton and Lee Sin does. Cookie clearly forgot.
Cookie forgot about
You
it. I don't
can't
feel so bad
move
about
for
it
the
now.
entire
Omo.
duration of 3 seconds. Empowered stun, into kick, you cannot move. You're in the air, you're stunned. And they just take him down, they get a free kill, they get the Inferno Dragon. Great start to the game for Alliance. I don't want to say anything that could potentially jinx, curse, copium, whatever. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and let's watch the game.
Yeah, Alliance will equalize the Dragons, and they're starting to get some pressure towards the top side. I mean, now the next major thing to watch out for is really that mid lane turrets. It's still the only outer tier turret still standing. SSK is obviously going to look for some pressure against Ysera in the side lane, and we've had some concerns or some queries before about how Ysera performs in Champions apart from the Renekton. So far, this Camille has been able to maintain good pressure, but I have to wonder, maybe it's less than what he would have been able to do against the Renekton.
Definitely is, right? But when you leave up the Renekton on red side, you can expect most teams to first pick it on blue side. Now, some teams, depending on what their Baron laners prefer, they might have answers which they prefer, and they'll give up the Renekton. But we're seeing this game very clearly why this Renekton pick is so high priority. Point and click on demand stun does so much damage, it's so hard to kill. I love the itemization coming in from Alliance right now. Zhonya's Hourglass, we expect this from Raven, from Veki. Well, Veki didn't get it, yes, with Twin Shadows. We'll need to play a bit safer there. But the main thing we want to keep note of is why did Renekton buy Zhonya's, you might ask yourself. Renekton, he's a champion who wants to be on the side lanes, things like Protobelt are really nice to him. Why did he buy Zhonya's? So that when Camille and Galio try to kill him on the side lane, they can't. He can just Zhonya's combo, and that's all you really need. Nice combo.
Oh, we're looking for a potential catch on the
Bad
east. He's going
timing.
to buy some time. Still trying to jump into the heroic entrance, but he's going to get blocked by the tidal wave. Now Ysera joining back into the fire. Zorveki into the back. Ysera's gone. Golden has to flash away. Alliance will shove Flash Wolves off.
Look at both sides right now. Everybody alive, but 10 ultimates expended. No one has anything left in the tank. Both of these teams are going to say, all right, good hustle, and then they're just going to back off. That's it for now. Keep in mind, tournament lives on the line for both of these teams. No one wants to risk losing it.
Absolutely. A lot of the line here, Alliance have been able to eke out a small gold advantage, which is different from what we've seen in the previous match up against Divine, where despite having a lot of early aggression, a lot of early kills, they weren't able to get much more done. We now look at SSK, who's been able to find a pretty good fight against Ysera, but Ysera's been topped up, and so both have to respect each other and back off.
Yeah. Look at Ysera's items though. He's starting to get a little bit beefy himself. His own Zhonya's actually saving. Here we go.
Oh my goodness, there we have it. Jelson, he's found the first pickoff, found the catch. Aqua Prison comes across. Bubble is going to be massive for Alliance, but they haven't been able to convert that into a kill. Cookie buys so much time in the process.
Oh, no.
Now Raven going to go down. He's gone golden in between 3, and it's Flash Wolves that have turned this fight around.
It's a bit of a tragedy for Alliance. Cookie living with a sliver of health right there. And the members of Alliance, they're desperately trying to clear out this wave, but the tower will drop.
Sarah, he's trying to make the play. He's trying to jump onto Jelson, who's had to back off. Flash Wolves with a good re-engage back there.
Yeah, heartbreaking fight there for Alliance. They barely missed out on those kills, and that will be Raven dropping, that will be CWJ dropping. Fortunately, they only lose one turret. Shinsekai wants to trade back. The locking is here. He's going to say you're not allowed to do that. He's going to clear out the waves. He's going to head out of there. And so far, this game is still basically dead even. It's still anyone's game. Losing mid lane turret is big. That's going to be huge for Flash Wolves, but it's not the end of the world for either team just yet.
So talk me through this, Omo. Knowing that Alliance and Flash Wolves basically have a dead even game, we should be looking to see who can scale up better. Between Alliance and Flash Wolves, who are you looking to see scale up first?
That's a really tough question to answer. I think the mid-game spike is definitely on the side of Alliance, but if we go into the late game, you see a Camille, you see a Senna. Galio is basically a carry himself, and don't forget Bruce on that Lucian. Flash Wolves in the late game, they're gonna take it for sure. I think it's gonna be really scary for Alliance. They need to start finding some leads in this mid-game where they should be stronger, and they need to start making picks around this dragon. A bit late though, I think.
Yeah, but Flash Wolves are just going to pick it up. Alliance are willing to give this one away. They're just going to focus on farming up. Not going to be too concerned about a Cloud Drake. As we have been confirmed by TJ, it's a Cloud Drake, not an Air Drake. So
Yeah.
I guess that's all I have to say about that.
It is a cloud drake. Just as it's an infernal drake, it's a mountain dragon. But you know, we can just call it fire drake. We can just call it earth drake.
We can
This
call
is
it
a
whatever
bit
we
of
want.
A bit of a stretch here, I think.
Yeah, but we have to call a spade a spade. Alliance failed the engage there. They won't be able to get
What's
the catch
this?
onto them. Flash Wolves in the mid lane looking to re-engage, find something, potentially take down
that's
Jelson,
huge.
who's got caught up by the center. He's gonna go golden, trying to buy a little bit more time for Alliance to maybe regroup, come back, but the technical sweep will swipe
Bruce.
across the entire team, and Alliance are feeling the pain. Bruce, the powerhouse of the cell.
He is indeed, and he nearly manages to clean up all of Alliance. Raven wants
Oh
to turn
my
it.
goodness, Chains of Corruption will come across. Easton is maybe looking to take down Raven, who's flashed away. A beautiful move there. Re-engage coming across from Jelson. He's jumping back onto Ysera, who's pulled him back with the Aqua Prison coming across. Locking is maybe looking to keep his Camille
Oh,
alive, but it will
what's
go
going on?
down. Look at how close these fights are.
It's the Game of Thrones from both teams. This is just like SBTC versus EVOS, except a little bit worse in every sense of the word. Both of these teams playing it to the edge. Yeah, Veki, I was actually quite curious how he got out of this because they expanded the Galio combo of it. But Eason was a little bit late on the uptick. Bruce with Culling did so much damage with his beefy boys in front to tank it up. Ysera, he's never really going in because he doesn't have the ultimatum for invulnerability, but he will just do a lot of damage and a lot of poking. And look at this, Raven goes in aggressive. He barely survives. This was so clutch from Alliance. They played this one to the limit. So many spells, so many resources used. Locking dies on the live screen right now. I kind of miss how that one happened. And mid lane turret tier 1 goes to Alliance.
Look, so much stuff is happening here, Omar. I mean,
So
it's a
much.
15-minute, almost 16-minute game, but look at Alliance, look at the aggression we're starting to see from them. Flash Wolves, Cookie has been looking to try and be the engager, be the one to find opportunities and angles to get in, but Alliance have shut him down. Flash Wolves have been able to escape relatively unscathed for a few times now, and that's what's been saving them. I feel like in a lot of these situations, now Alliance, they've hit this mid-game power spike you're talking about. I'm feeling a little bit concerned for Flash Wolves if they keep playing the way they do.
It's the mid-game power spike, but it's not here for that much longer. I think if Flash Wolves, they hold on for a couple more minutes, they are good to go for the late game, and here we go.
Yeah, Jelson's out here trying to make a play. He's gonna jump in first, maybe get something,
dead.
but Raven's the one that goes down instead. Cookie with the Ignite taking him down, will survive, escapes to
Bruce.
the back. Jelson taking damage from Bruce, but Shinsekai
Bruce
comes
is
in,
down.
look at the Aqua Prison. CWJ comes in massive, but the Crocodile has to run away. He's gonna go golden, he's trying to buy time, he's trying to
they're
keep them
wide.
alive. But Ozora Veki, despite finding one back, is gonna face off against Locking now. Easton's still chasing after, like you mentioned, he's basically a carry at this point. And Alliance have to run away.
I don't know what happened at the start of the fight. Maybe Zhonya's Hourglass was down, but the combo onto Raven one-shot him. He didn't even get to use the Chains of Corruption, and that is so huge. Kick again.
Dragon's Rage is back up, and Zorveki maybe looking for something.
Flash.
That flash away from Locking, though.
Oh my goodness, and both of these teams, they are trying their best to push this game to the limits. They're not willing to let a single thing go without a contest. Go yet again, basically dead even. Minions take the bot lane and hit the turret for the side of Flash Wolves. They basically even the game up. And keep in mind, we are approaching the late game there very rapidly. Gaminism, 3 items on Bruce. 3 items on Ysera. I do believe some GAs did get popped. I think Ysera's was one of them, so that's gonna be big for the next fight. But what timings do Alliance have right now? I think the Elder Dragon is gonna be the big one. That's in 15 seconds. No one wants to start the Baron, but we're approaching the pivotal point. The question now, who's gonna perform in the clutch? That's all that matters.
Oh, it's tense here, Omo. I'm starting to feel the
tense.
pressure. I'm not even
My
the one
heart is
playing here.
pumping.
I have to mention though, in the previous fight, Flash saw multiple of the Guardian Angels expanded where
What's going
Johnson
on?
still holds on to his own. Here we go, the fight is started off. It's gonna be the first takedown of the Cookie. No jungler down for the Flash Wolves. Alliance coming back in, bites
Oh,
Eason
no.
with the damage of the Galio, able to take down the primary carries of Alliance. Raven is dead, Zorvek still alive, but taking down Bruce. Shizukai buying time over on the other end, will ultimately fall. And Jelson, Jelson's the one that falls. Shizukai's still alive, so they don't even have their jungler. Alliance is going to have to play around this. Locking's gonna turn around. They're trying to jump back in. Ysera's coming in for the flank. Charm barely misses out. Lots of damage coming across from Easton. This tank, Galio, this carry Galio. He's everything. He's everything at once.
He does it all. He's tanky, he does damage, he has utility. I mean, he even has the Font of Life to buff his teammates, keep them healing. They're gonna start this one out. I think Cookie has the teleport enchantment, so they might be able to get this one in time. Raven has the TP though. Everyone is running back. There's a ward on it. They see the health on this.
Oh,
Will Alliance
my
get here
goodness.
in time, Grandin?
This is gonna be clutch, and there's no
It's gonna
blast
be
over the
so
wall. It's gonna be so
close.
difficult to get over. Only Shinsekai is gonna be able to get over that wall in time. Still looking for something here.
See the
Zorveki
health.
moves in the pit. That's the teleport coming in from Raven. They're trying to move back onto Eastern, trying to take down Ysera if they can. But Shinsekai gonna get
Swally.
tossed out. The Chains of Corruption comes in. Second
Jelson's
teleport
back.
coming in now from
Raven's dead.
Jelson. That's trying to contest this, but Cookie's coming in as well.
That's it.
And there's no chance for them to stop this. It's a double kill to take it down. Raven trying to smite it away, but Flash Wolves, they come up on top. Now Zoroveki loses his life. It's a quadra kill coming online for Ysera.
And that right there is exactly what Flash Wolves Team Comp wants to do. They find one target, they isolate you, they run you down, they kill you. Flash Wolves, they smell blood, they TP in, they want the end, they want the Nexus. It's not just enough to get the Elder granted, they want the game, they want playoffs here.
Never doubt Ysera, never question again whether he's going to be good in anything except his Renekton. He's coming in with the Camille, he's making things happen. The initiation, the playmaker for the Flash Wolves is going to be successful as they take the first win and confirm themselves their spot in the playoffs.
That's a heartbreaker for Alliance, but congratulations to